I begin this particular series of key word studies on September 14th. It's known as Holy Cross Day. And I thought this word would be absolutely appropriate for today and to begin such a series as this. The word is kenosis, the Greek word kenosis. As found in the everyday language of ancient time, the word kenosis might have referred to someone on a diet, someone who has made a choice to hold back on rich, succulent foods for a variety of reasons, maybe for their health, maybe for spiritual discipline, maybe to prove a point. And it was also sometimes used to describe the waning moon in the cycles, in the lunar cycle. A key understanding was that kenosis required some kind of self-imposed will, some kind of discipline. And in reference to the moon, I would ask you to remember that ancient people often saw the actions of the heavens as God's way of revealing his will, or in the case of polytheism, gods were revealing their will. So there was this idea that a waning moon, the action of it, may have been God withholding light or sending a message to people. So when we look at it in terms of the New Testament, how does that translate? Well, it's referred to when we talk about Jesus as his self-emptying. Emptying of his own will to be in tune with God's divine will. You know, it's interesting, it is to me anyway, that the New Testament uses the word kenosis 5 times, but not once as a noun. In other words, it's not there as a kenosis. You must look at it and do it. It's always a verb. It's always an action. It's always someone doing something. Romans chapter 4:14, 1 Corinthians 1:17, and 9:15, 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 3, and in Philippians chapter 2, verse 7. In every case, there's this image of emptying, depletion, an actual emptiness in your life that is the result of living without God or without God's grace. So there's that motion that comes from emptying, either by your own will or because it's a result of a way of living. In Philippians 2:7, Jesus is said to have made a choice. He emptied himself. That's the starting point of the Christian ideal of kenosis. Kenosis has the highest value for followers of Jesus, even though sometimes we have forgotten that. John the Baptist, for example, says, and I'm sure you're familiar with this, he must increase, I must decrease. I must become less. The key to understanding kenosis is best found in Philippians 2:7. Jesus is described in that passage as the one who had all authority. He was equal with God. But he made a choice. He made a choice to empty himself and becoming nothing, as low as a slave. Why? I'll tell you, in this act of humility, he illustrates and proves his absolute love for humanity. He submits himself by choice to the actions and the will of people. John 3:16, God so loved the world the word, you will find it later on in this Bible study, the word world. In Greek, it's cosmos. And that doesn't just mean rocks and trees and the planet. It means the people in it and their systems, as broken, as corrupt as that might be. God loved that so much that he gave himself into it. And so Jesus emptied himself, willing to become a slave for the sake of humanity. In Jesus, we see God's humility made real in the incarnation. He chose to empty himself. And without preaching at you, what is the key New Testament concept for Christians? It is a call for Christians to be similar to Jesus, in that we are subject in absolute, sacrificial, and loving ways to each other. Canosis.